Hi, and welcome to Hypnotize Me, the podcast about hypnosis, transformation, and healing. This is Dr. Elizabeth Bonet, and I'm your host. This podcast is not a substitute for mental health treatment, nor should it be. If you need therapy or hypnotherapy, please seek a trained professional. I do hypnosis all over the world, so if you'd like to learn more about me, you can do that at my website, drlizhypnosis.com. That's DRLIZ hypnosis.com. Now on to our episode. Hi, Dr. Liz here. And I'm so glad to be here. This week I'm going to talk about the science of hypnosis. Now, often I get the question of, do I have to believe in hypnosis for it to work? I get this quite a bit, or I'll have someone who says, I'm going to quote my friend Lio here. He's like my age. He's like, dude, I don't believe in hypnosis, right? I looked at him when he said this and I said, I thought that you believed in science. And he said, I do. Of course, I've always been a scientist. And I was like, all right, then, hypnosis is backed by decades of science, like research that goes on in medical schools. So that was pretty funny. He didn't know that, actually. So we ended up having a discussion about it. And I have journals that come to my house. So I even showed him some of the journals and some of the studies. They have double-blind controlled studies that go on with hypnosis. They're doing brain scans with hypnosis. And they're finding that it affects like 15 different parts of the brain. There was a blog post I published about one of the studies that I read about this. And it's a quite thorough study. Like, it goes into all the different parts of the brain that hypnosis affects and concludes that this is a legitimate treatment. I talked some about this study in a past episode about chronic pain, whether the effect of hypnosis is real or is it just in your head. And when they did the brain scans, the effect of hypnosis was very real on someone's chronic pain. This was not just your imagination. And I'm also going to quote a famous hypnotherapist, Stephen Andreas, who said, I don't do faith healing. I do scientific things and things that work. I just love that quote. Right? Like, this is not faith healing. Like, you're not coming in and saying, oh, I believe, and then boom, you're healed. Not that I'm putting down faith healing. I hear about miracles all the time. You've heard me say on the podcast before that one thing that reduces anxiety is reading about near-death experiences. Okay? Now, some of you may think I'm whacked when I say that. But for me, this is very soothing and calming, because almost all of them are amazing stories and have such a message of hope, like when they come back from that. And some of them have like medical miracles. There's a famous one by a neuroscientist who was a complete atheist before he had this, and his case could not be explained medically by himself, a very respected doctor, or any of his colleagues, like top doctors around the world. There's another book by an Indian woman who talks about her journey and near-death experience and how nobody can explain the healing that happened with her. She had cancer and was really like, she was dying and had this near-death experience where they said to her, if you go back, you'll be healed. Like, everything will go away. And it was. So I'm saying all kinds of miracles happen, okay? But you really don't even have to believe in hypnosis for it to work, because it works anyway. There's all kinds of studies around it working. Now, do you have to make it into somebody's office, or do you have to call somebody, or do you have to have motivation? Yes, but motivation is different than belief. So particularly when you're talking about more of the medical stuff and the medical conditions and pre-surgical hypnosis, you don't need belief because you have science. You do need motivation, though. You do have to listen to the file, or you do have to do the exercises. I got a question once at a presentation I was doing where the woman said, you keep saying if they're open to it. Like, does it work even if someone's not open to it? we were actually talking about teenagers at the time. And what I said is it works, even if someone doesn't believe it's going to work. But do they have to be open to actually coming in and having it done or being a participant in that? Because a session of hypnosis is the two of you working together. I don't have a magic wand. I really am not a faith healer, okay? Like I can't just lay my hands on you, right? I can't do it. Like I have to talk to you and see who you are and get to know your own motivations and you as a person and what's the medical history going on here if we're doing medical hypnosis. If we're doing deeper healing, well, I have to know what that healing is. If we're doing core healing, well, then I have to know how you want to feel. I can't decide that for you. I need to know what are the beliefs that you think will be better for your life. What are the beliefs that you think are stopping you? And we can discover those under hypnosis too, if you're not so aware of them. But most people have a guess about what's going on. But it's like, I'm not going to make up for you what you want your life to look like. That's your part. Or let's say like who you want to meet, like what kind of partner do you want? That may be completely different than the kind of partner I want. So you're a participant in that. That's what I meant when I said they have to be open to it. But even if you take the case of hypnosis for IBS, I've had people in my office who are like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm here because my doctor sent me and I know there's research on it and it's supposed to help. And I say, fantastic, let's get started. And we do, and it helps. So afterwards, they're believers, quote unquote. You know, I had to make that joke, right? Right? Stephen Andreas also says, would it be okay with you if it did work? And I think that's a lovely question and gets more to the root of it. Like, yeah, all right, if it did work, would that be all right? And if someone says yes, it's like, all right, let's get to it then. Let's proceed. So you may have heard the cat walk in. She now has a bell because she was bringing me all these little creatures and they were not alive. And it was so sad for me. This would happen like once or twice a week. And one day I walked into the house and we are talking, my living room was covered in feathers and it was this beautiful little bird. And I was just so sad. I was heartbroken for the bird. And I said, we have to do something about this. Like I can't let her go around terrorizing the neighborhood and all the tiny creatures. So we brainstormed and came up with the idea of a bell so that she cannot stalk them so easily. And so far it's worked. So you may hear her walking around and that's not the fairies. That's the cat. All right. If you want to see the study about the brain scans, I will put the link to that in the show notes. And if you go on my website, I have tons of research on the website about the different effects of hypnosis. In fact, this third season, I've moved more towards interviews and talking about transformation and not just hypnosis. But the first season or two, there were many, many weeks when I would just do a research study about hypnosis and the effects of it and whether it was effective. I am going to do one of those in the next couple of weeks as well. So keep an eye out for it if you're more scientifically minded. All right. Have a wonderful week, people. Peace. I hope you truly enjoyed today's episode. Remember that you can get free hypnosis downloads over at my website, drlizhypnosis.com, DRLIZ hypnosis.com. I work all over the world doing hypnosis. So if you're interested in working with me, please schedule a free consultation over at my website and we'll see what your goals are and if I can be of service to you in helping you reach them. Finally, if you liked today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast or tell a friend. That way, more and more people learn about the power of hypnosis.